way they think, you know, like their style of, you know, getting things done, like complement the way mine is. Like, you know, the way, you know, this was like a happy coincidence, like the way we were so synergetic the entire time. And then he was able to just plow stuff out, and then Roberto, you know, he was, you know, very autonomous, you know, over here on his laptop, he was able to, you know, get our art done out, you know, we were able to collaborate things nicely, and when, you know, we'd hit certain milestones, and like, hey, I have this done, what do you need next? Hey, I have this done. And so at the beginning, it was like, kind of a feeling, like just talking to him at the beginning, this is the early morning socializing, you know, you could kind of get a feel for how it might play out, so I was kind of going with my gut.
Yes, the early morning last night.
So,
Starbucks strategies.
so besides these lovebirds here, problems and they just were hugging and kissing all night long. I mean, and besides the problems that George spoke of, were there any other type of, you know, issues that you guys ran into, or things that you felt went really well? Please don't say anything. I know you guys are just, like, you know, Andy, you know, when you were on the team with everyone, you know, did you guys encounter any problems at all, like communication problems, you know, management problems, code problems? So
from the previous jams, I felt they were a little bit scattered, and so I tried to be a little bit of an enforcer.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
And it seemed to work. I mean, George, we had a kind of a team. These guys are pretty experienced.
Yes.
So things were pretty easy. But yeah, experience. Yeah.
At first, I also noticed since there's a lot more, you know, in previous ones, the teams were very isolated. You almost had no idea of what other people were doing until the very end, because you had to focus so intently on your own project.
Yeah.
This one, there's more helping people in other groups, because you had that time that it wouldn't, you know, necessarily sacrifice your own project to render help to others, you know, or to discuss things about their project, because, you know, you never know what it's going to lead, where it's going to lead. And so that was really, you know, a much greater, you know, personal, you know, building, you know, environment for enrichment than the previous ones.
So would you guys say the ones who've, you know, who've done the previous ones, that intense crunch type, you know, like intensity was helped you in this particular case? Like, it helped you kind of think better? Like, you know, because, you know, you were so used to just thinking really, really fast that you weren't, you know, it allowed you to focus more on what matters versus just kind of stretching it all out? Or what do you guys think? Did it help at all?
It always helps to have some kind of pressure.
It's very true.
But this is always fun, because I have to come here and maybe have an idea and pitch it and then watch it grow in other people's minds. That's always fun, because it's like you have this great idea and you've been building it up and then you take it to somebody and they come up with an idea, and it's like all what you've been thinking about is useless, because that idea is so great and you want to work on that. And that's what we kind of did. We all collaborated on it.
We started with a campaign manager, like the real political campaign manager kind of thing, and we convinced him to do this balloon thing. So it was a mix of ideas, but it was pretty interesting the way we decided. I guess all of us were into strategy games. At least I like them more than the fast clicking ones. So that also matters, I think.
So your experiences with other things kind of help bring it all together. Yeah. Very nice. So I also noticed that there were a few, you know, some of you who were just.
Yeah, you know, the first days we got most everything done.
Yeah.
It might be good to do a next one, do it one day and wait a week and then refresh it.
We'll come back to that one.
Wait a week and then do all the assets at home.
Since you mentioned, you know, ideas, one that I had was to encourage people to avoid, you know, making massive frameworks and being bogged down in details.
Yes.
Make it so that you have a bunch of mini deadlines where you have to release a new feature to the game and just keep adding feature upon feature, just piling them on.
Iterating.
And just having it so that you have you do have a deadline that you have to meet, but it's just that you just have to implement a feature by that deadline to make it so that you can be guaranteed you'll have a very, you know, complex and depth-filled game, as opposed to you have one big mechanic that isn't that impressive to see, there may be a ton of stuff behind it, but it isn't as impressive to actually see because it's only represented, in one way, because that's all there is.
That's true. Well, you said you were actually kind of building, you're architect on this, in your particular group, and you were building the framework. Yeah. So how did that work out? I mean, was it difficult? Was it really fast? How did you go about doing it?
For me in particular, it wasn't actually all that difficult because I've been at home pretty much building the same engine, coincidentally. Like I have a side project at home, so when I got here, and they're like, I was like, hey, if we really push X and A, I'm going to be on fire. And so that's what happened. We got there, and I was immediately shelling stuff out. I had our collision detection up, I had our controller up in like an hour flat. So for me, it was just really easy, and I was able to actually just kind of brute force it because I had already done it so many times. So.
Kind of naturally.
Yeah, in this one particular case, it was pure luck. Like, not great.
I actually did that same thing when I was trying to attempt to build my first game. I wanted to be a multiplayer, real-time multiplayer game, and that requires server-side stuff. So I spent the time all Saturday building a socket server. That turned out well. I built it and actually was functioning, but then I came to the conclusion that networking is hard. Yeah. So I kind of, I got some help from other people and some ideas on how to make it work, which did, in the end, help me make it finally function. But my code was so horrible, mangled mess that it just, I was like, you know what? I don't even know where this bug is coming from, and it's been spent hours trying to figure out where it is. No comments. I screwed myself over. So I had all the code on the client side, I had all this code on the server side. It's just, it was a nightmare. So, yeah, I mean, even though you can build frameworks and stuff, if you don't know what the hell you're doing, it's probably not a good idea to do it. So, I learned a lot from it, but I'll never do it again. That was not a smart thing to do. But, then I built another game and it's even do better. So yeah, there you go.
I have a question.
Yes.
So how many of these people are going to work on this game after this, like to make a finished product out of it?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Oh wow.
And will we have like a follow-up, like in a few weeks?
Yeah, if you guys are seriously going to keep going with it, I would be more than happy to follow up.
Will we have like a monthly report? This is what happened.
And the possibility is, we don't all have to physically meet up. We could always do some sort of thing where have like a mass Skype, meetup. I don't know what you
just like
Skype
that.
meetup
With Facebook or whatever other things, because we all put in our social media stuff. If we all saw the update, because we have our games on the website or whatever, right? So we could just like check out each other's games just on our own time, kind of,
Assuming everyone actually updated,
uploaded
their game, which please do if you haven't already. But yeah, I mean, any final thoughts on your experience at all? Anything? Nice.
I thought it was a little different being, one of the three artists here of the jam. The third left after the evening, didn't come back for the second day, which is unfortunate, but it was interesting meeting a team and trying to organize a team because a ton of programmers and designers and then coming to artists. I mean, for me, I'm more visually sensed. I mean, right when I heard Survival of the Fittest, I was thinking, oh, I gotta have violence. I gotta have, something easy that I can do in 24 hours to produce assets and just get that right in there. So, luckily that fit having Andy and Jen around, and then George talked to them and just kind of connected. I mean, I heard some of the other ideas, and it didn't really pull me. So, being able to start with that sense that I didn't want to do political figures or. I didn't really get a sense of any of their ideas actually, but. I talked to a few people here, they're, talented, skilled, and they have their ideas, but got work done, and I ran my own challenges, but in terms of, back to concepts, it was just different. Everyone likes to create their own original idea. They want to come up with, I want to create something unique. It's like, to me, I've been playing games for 15 years, and a side-scrolling, jumping action game is still a side-scrolling, jumping action game. No matter how we pin it, so very cool stuff.
I'd like to wrap up with one thing, or say one last thing. I'd like to thank Jeff and Cap City for hosting all this, organizing the food, and all kinds of stuff. It's fantastic.
We still have some more.
Thank you very much.
have some very good news. I mean, besides Unity, which actually we still need to do a raffle for anyone who's interested in getting early access to the Unity Beta 7, and you'll have access to the iOS. You get a team license, get Android, you get iPhone, and you get the Flash export as well.
Wow. Sweet.
There's only one though, so it's
There's only one?
Yeah, only one. So that's why the raffle. Now, also, we have another sponsor, which I failed to say, but I'm saying now. For all you people who are going to continue, which I'm really excited for, there's an independent gaming PR consultant who contacted me, and he, his job is that he basically likes to help indie game developers. He does all their marketing for them and all their PR work, which is that's what you need, right? So he's giving 20% off to any of the teams that actually are going to continue their games after. So if you're interested into that, to having a marketing guy, which I think you all should be, please contact me, and we can get you connected with him after that. So yeah, that's definitely something you'd want. If you're serious about making the game, you'll want that. So yeah, and like Jeff said, I want to apologize for the pizza. We had some issues, but yeah, they did make some food back there. So if anyone else wants to stay, just a little bit longer to get some food and the raffle, then that's right there for you. But anything final to say? Or?
So I appreciate everyone showing up. There's some the weird things that happened. Right today we had some guy that walked in who was a friend of someone here, and he was he was just like, "What are you guys doing here?" I was like, "Well, we're doing a game jam." I said, "Well, what do you do?" He's like, "Well, I'm the senior product manager of gaming at Adobe."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Okay." So I brought him in. So we have a connection now too. So he just said, "Anytime you guys want anything, and he said he wanted to invite us down there." So when they do game jams, Sacramento people should be down there. So it's just really kind of fascinating. So these are things like having people come out and network. I think I reiterated last time we had the game jam. Just like coming out and networking is key. Like learning, going through this process is really important. Learning how to work together.
Yeah, seriously, I'm a little squeal. I'm a huge Flash guy, so I just.
Yeah, he kept us home. When I brought him, I thought he was going to geek out. He was like,
I was saying so much stuff. Oh my God. Anyway, but yeah, so I will almost. So we could possibly. We're really close with Unity now. We could potentially have Adobe on board with us. I also know another place where you can called Flash License, where you can buy and sell your games, either Unity, iPhone, whatever. So yeah, we're making more connections and making things happen. That's why I wanted you all to upload your games, so we can start making ourselves more visible to everyone, so we can get these sponsorships and make the events bigger and better. So that's why. I'm not just trying to be annoying or anything. So.
Or me being annoying.
Yeah, exactly. All the crazy stalker footage is for a purpose. So.
And I know some of you didn't upload change your Facebook profiles with pictures, which was what
So yeah, and so we move. The next, whoever wants to stay for the raffle, I'm gonna, rip up a piece of paper so you can put your names on it if you're interested in that. Or you see a hand up. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for the event. I want to